Hi, it's Nicole, and I'm back today with a traditional scrapbook layout. I'm doing a 12 by 12 layout, and as I thought about adding to my album for this year, which I keep separate from my Project Life album, I thought that I needed a title card. Kind of like, I created a title card for Project Life, but I've never done one for my traditional albums. And just like for December Daily, where I set an intention like Ali Edwards does, I thought it was appropriate or made sense for me to document why I do scrapbooking. So that's the intention of this layout, and then basically setting what I want to do this year and kind of explaining why I spend so much time doing this. And I do love it. But anyway, that's my goal for this layout. I chose the kit from January, Studio Calico, which is Roman Holiday, which I've already used before. And I love these die cut pieces that you black and white that you see at the bottom there from One Little Bird. And I'm choosing this particular vellum strip here, and until recently had problems using vellum strips, especially on pattern paper, because as soon as you peeled the backing off, you put it down on the pattern paper and you couldn't really see the words. So then I was like, well, why do I have to peel it off at all? So then I just cut around the phrase and called it in and kind of adhered it like a piece of paper. And that works out just fine so that I can see the words. I found these letters in my letter stash, which I keep a separate box of extra letters and stuff, especially for December Daily. I think these were for an old Studio Calico kit, but I can't for the life of me remember which one it was. And thought that would make a nice opening title to sort of set the year and let whoever's looking at the album know what they were going to see. I'm trying to figure out now what letters to use, and you can see I've pulled some different letters from my stash. I didn't like the ones that came in this kit because they seemed a little small for my title, which is only 3 letters. Why? And I found this pink paisley acetate letters, and they are the right proportion that I was looking for. So I selected out the letters Y and a question mark as well as an ampersand. I'm using this bee vellum, which is from the March 2017 Studio Calico kit called Birds and Bees. I knew as soon as I saw it online that I was going to love it. I love bees for some reason. Busy as a bee, that kind of thing. And I have, compacts and jewelry with bugs on it. I'm kind of weird, but I don't love bugs like that, but I just like bug jewelry, and I'm always kind of a busy person, so bees have always had a special draw to me. So now I'm just trimming this piece of green pattern paper to go at the top, and I chose this to complement the strip of vellum sticker that I'm using, but also because it goes well with orange, and I'm just sort of free cutting the bottom edge. I want it to be a little messy, but not too messy. And then sort of layering those letters on top of it. And I'm going to stick this documented real life circle behind it. And I want to make sure that the real life is in view there. That strip on top is, and also on the bottom, that I'm going to place across the Y. And these are both from the Ali Edwards Surprise Story Kit. And there is, within the kit, a pack of perforated sentiment strips that when you cut them out, or not really cut them out, but tear them off, they have a really neat texture, which I really like. So I'm going to use those. So now you see that I've created this pocket for my journaling with the bee vellum paper. And to secure it in place, I glued part of it down, but I glued the wrong part of it down. So I totally screwed up, and there's no way I can go back from that. So I basically had to rip the whole thing off and use the other half of the bee vellum. Thank God I had some more, and sew it on properly. So next, I'm just kind of rearranging everything back the way it was after sewing everything on and getting everything in place. I also wanted to use the Live Today in all caps die cut piece as sort of like a pull tab for my journaling. It's going to stick out from the bee vellum intentionally so that if somebody wants to pull it up and read it, then they'll know that that's something that they can pull up. And the Yes plastic piece there at the bottom is also from the Ali Edwards Surprise Story Kit. So I'm just still kind of rearranging and playing around. I'm finally settling, oh, sorry for my hair right there. It's finally settling on an arrangement of everything. And I think to complement that pink number 2 at the top, I'm going to grab a piece of this hot pink paper. And it's not going to be super bright because it's going to be actually tucked behind the vellum. But just for a little bit of color to not have that number 2 hanging out by itself in its own color family there. So I'm adhering that on there, and then I'm going to secure my little tag of Live Today in all caps with some adhesive and then my tiny attacher. Next I'm going to be trimming my journaling card piece, which I know that I did not go all the way down to the bottom of the pocket with my journaling. That's okay. That's all I had to say. And it's going to be covered up with the Y anyway, so I'm fine with it that way. So I'm just now continuing to adhere things down. I'm trimming off the exact amount of this washi strip that I want without taking it off the backing, and going to glue that down directly on like right over the photo. I'm also going to adhere this ampersand, and next is the photo. So next up, I'm going to be adhering the Y down. I definitely want that sentiment strip there, and I think that's going to be a nice title and subtitle actually. So first I'm going to adhere down the Yes because I'm very sure that that's where I want that to go. So adhering that down with some red line tape, which sticks super well, especially for these plastic pieces. Next I'm going to be working on the top. I wanted to narrow that piece of green paper down just a little bit more before adhering it down so that the numbers weren't overwhelmed by the amount of pattern paper at the top. And my pattern papers are complementary. One is a larger pattern and the other is a smaller pattern. And I'm just spacing everything out exactly the way I want it to be. And then I'm going to adhere down that circle first and then sort of work around that, making sure that the real life is visible on the right hand side. So next I'm going to adhere these down, and I'm going to use my tiny attacher because whenever, oh yeah, I have to take off the protective film layer on these. I didn't think there was one, but I saw one on the 7, so a lot of these acetate pieces have this protective film coating on them, and if you take, they're fine if you just leave them on there, but if you take them off, then they're a little more shiny and vibrant in color. So I'm adhering these with my tiny attacher because if you use an adhesive, you can see the adhesive through the plastic, which I don't care for, so I'm going to staple them all down. And then I'm going to be adhering the sentiment strip on the top there next. I wanted to give it a little bit of dimension, so I cut down some of my square foam dots so that they would fit, and then I put that at the bottom of the numbers. Next I'm going to be adhering the Y, and I didn't think that there was a protective film on these acetate pieces because I had looked for them before when I pulled them out off camera. But then I was putting the H down and I saw that there was some, so I just stopped recording, and you didn't need to see me struggle pulling that plastic piece off. So again, I'm doing the same thing to adhere this sentiment strip at the bottom of the Y. So a little bit of similarity there between the year and the subtitle, and then the title itself and the subtitle. And then finally deciding where I want that little pencil to go. Trimming off the edges of my circles and calling that a completed layout. Thank you so much for coming by. I know that time is very valuable, and I appreciate you spending time here with me today. So I hope you have happy crafting. See you later.